Hi, my name is Riley, and I'll be your social worker. It's really nice to meet you, Jeanette.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you too.
I just want to ask you a few questions before we get started, if that's okay. And my first one is, where are you from?
Well, my mom is from Costa Rica. My dad's African American. He's from Washington, D.C.
Oh, great. So, do you have a good relationship with your parents?
I really never did. Unfortunately, they passed away when I was younger, and I just never had a relationship with them while they were alive.
I'm really sorry to hear that, and thank you for sharing that with me.
Thank you.
In that case, do you have any other family members that you're able to depend on or look to for comfort?
Yeah, when I was younger, I was actually placed with my grandmother, Alba, from my mom's side. And she's the one who primarily she took care of me growing up. So
Okay.
she filled that void that I didn't have with my parents.
Okay, so you had a good relationship with your grandmother growing up?
Yeah, I had a great relationship with my grandmother. I always felt loved by her, and she was always very supportive and always there for me while I was growing up.
And do you still have a good relationship with her?
I did, but unfortunately, she also did pass. She was diagnosed with cancer. The first time she beat it, second time, um, she passed the second time around.
I'm really sorry to hear that, Jeanette. Uh, I would like to ask you, do you have good relationships with other members of your family that perhaps you could fall back on?
Yeah, well, growing up, I had a lot of extended family members on both my mom and my dad's side. But I was typically very closer to my godmother Tamia and my cousin Rachel because she was my same age, and we used to hang out a lot of the time on the weekends. And my godmother, we used to go for walks, and she really sparked my interest in science, and she was very supportive as well as my grandmother growing up.
That's great. It's really good to hear that you have different people to rely on in your life as well.
Thank you.
You say that you have interest in science. Do you attend school?
Yeah, I currently attend a local college right now, and yeah, I love science and I love outdoors and nature. My favorite class is actually biology.
Oh, that's great. That's so good to hear. So do you like school?
I do, for the most part. There's been a couple incidents that have made me uncomfortable, but for the most part, I've always loved to attend school. Just recently, I just haven't been attending due to some issues.
Okay. All right. So do you live at school?
Yeah, I live on campus with my roommate.
Okay. And do you have a good relationship with your roommate or other people at school?
Um, well, I my relationship with my roommate was all right at first, but then she just said some things that made me feel uncomfortable regarding my race. So we aren't as close. And then I did have a friend in my biology class as my lab partner, Karen, and she was. I felt like I could relate to her for the most part, and then she also said some comments that made me feel uncomfortable, but it was nothing too major to like really have any issues with her. But I'm not as close with her. But I do have some other friends in school that I am close with.
Okay. So um, how do you spend your time outside of class? How do you like to spend your time at school?
Well, me and my friends, we typically we just go out and party, and that's pretty much what we do, or just like hang out and go to like sporting events on campus.
Okay, that's great. That's really good to hear. So these friends, are you able to go to them with some of the stress of your life? Are you able to talk to them?
Um, well, at first, yeah, but recently I just felt like I don't want to talk to them or just want to keep my distance from them.
Okay. All right. So we'll get into that later. So how do you deal with stress lately?
Well, lately I started smoking marijuana to deal with some of the stress that I've been going through.
Okay. As far as using substances, do you only smoke marijuana, or do you use any other drugs, or do you drink heavily, or anything?
Um, well, after my grandmother passed away, I drunk heavily one night and I blacked out, and um, that created a lot of stress for me. So I don't typically drink now. I just use marijuana only.
Okay, so you aren't using any other drugs. So you're not used to drinking often?
No, I wasn't. I mean, we drank a little bit going out with my friends, but nothing where I blacked out the way that I did after my grandmother passed away.
Okay, so as far as blacking out, did you find yourself in a situation where you could feel comfortable and safe, or were you in a not great scenario?
Um, well, that's kind of like hard to talk about only because I did end up in a situation where I wasn't really safe or felt comfortable.
Okay.
Um, I've never really expressed to people that I was a virgin, and unfortunately, I'm no longer a virgin because I've been sexually assaulted after that night. I blacked out.
I'm really sorry to hear that, Jeanette, and I'll always be here as your social worker to talk about issues like this. But thank you so much for sharing that with me.
Thank you.
So after that night, have you been able to reach out to anybody about your sexual assault?
No, I decided I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. You're the first person that knows about it. I That's why I've been a little bit distant from my friends and my family.
So, Jeanette, how have you been feeling after the assault?
Um, I've been feeling like really low. I've been having panic attacks and I've been more irritable and sad all the time. Even my friends have talked about it, and them talking about it to me, well, not about the situation, talking about me and my behavior lately. um, I just get more emotional about it the more they ask me questions, so I tend to shut down more. And then it's also really affecting me physically. I just been starting to feel really sick and nauseous, and I've been noticing that I've been being more forgetful lately.
Have you, by any chance, been able to visit a doctor after your sexual assault?
I haven't gone to the doctor to check on my like sexual assault itself, but because of like me feeling nauseous, I went to the school's health center, um, and they they told me that I was pregnant, um, and because I was a virgin, um, that that's been the result of my sexual assault.
So, how did it feel to get that news about you becoming pregnant?
Um, it was a lot for me emotionally. I got very overwhelmed and I had a lot of feelings, and I'm feeling really angry and hopeless. So I went back after that to my dorm room and I called the crisis um, hotline, and I told them that I feel like I was going to kill myself.
Okay, that's really brave that you were able to come forward and contact a hotline about that. So I'm really proud of that, and I want to let you know. Thank you for sharing all of this information with me. Um, if there's anything I can do moving forward, we will come up with a plan together to figure out how to work on everything we've talked about today. And I'd like to thank you so much for meeting with me today,
Thank you
Jeanette.
so much.
Thank